Brenda, for the minutes, can we have closed session adjourned at 6:25?
6:24. All right, so we have everyone here.
Yeah.
Okay. So I call the regular meeting of the Imperial Valley Healthcare District to order. We have the roll call determination of quorum, please.
Director Bernworth, Director Goodstuff,
Here.
Director Bedard, Director Proctor,
Here.
Director Berker,
Here.
Director Valdez,
Here.
Director Garcia.
Here.
Thank you. And if we can all stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And we don't have any requests for remote appearances, so we will move on to consider the approval of the agenda.
A second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay. Public comments. At this time, the board will hear comments on any agenda item. If any person wishes to be heard, he or she shall stand, address the president, identify self, and state the subject for comment. Time limit for each speaker is 3 minutes total, not 3 minutes per item, but rather 3 minutes per speaker for all items on the agenda. A total of 15 minutes shall be allocated for each item for all members of the public. The board may find it necessary to limit the total time allowable for public comments on items not appearing on the agenda at any one meeting to 1 hour. So do we have any comments from the public? Okay, seeing none or hearing none, we'll move on to our consent calendar. So any member of the board, staff, or public may request that items for the consent calendar be removed for discussion. Items so removed shall be acted upon separately immediately following approval of items remaining on the consent calendar. So, do we have any questions, concerns, or does someone want to move to accept the consent calendar?
A second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second
By Proctor.
by Proctor. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. So that brings us to our board comments, reports on meetings and events attended by directors, and authorization for director attendance. Do we not have anything for reporting out in closed session? Did I miss that one here? Am I wrong?
No, and you're right, thank you. On the special board meeting agenda, and the minutes will reflect that there was no reportable action taken in closed session.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right. So with that, do we have any other reports, comments from any fellow board members?
No.
On the ad hoc,
For the education and outreach?
yeah, on the education outreach, the committee has been busy at work. Mr. Frank Salazar has been doing some great work for us, along with Chris and Tomas and Tony. Thank you very much, guys. We basically have a beta copy, or we have our new website pretty much ready to go. I think you've all received the link to that to take a look at. It's not for public release yet, but go ahead and click on it and play with it. You haven't received it? Okay, we'll make sure that we push
I
out.
saw it.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
We'll get a push out to you guys again.
Thanks. And on there'll be a button there for the newsletter, and they're also designing the newsletter for us as well. And then also there was a press release a few weeks ago as well regarding the award that we received from the, what committee was that?
That was from the
Hospital Association.
Yeah,
Hospital Association.
Hospital Association. So.
Yeah, and so that was real nice too. And then also Frank is busy at work right now putting together a holiday message for the community as well. And so we did taping yesterday and today, so that'll be coming out pretty soon as well. So
Also the fact that we have an interim logo, but we're still going to be putting out that other logo.
correct. So you'll see on that website and some of our materials now we have an interim logo now for our use. And in the future, we're still planning on going to the community to ask them to, we had already approached Office of Education, I believe. We're planning on making a contest of that, kind of a way of bringing the community into that, but that's still gonna, we're still in developing that, and talk to the board as far as how the board will want to utilize that. In the future, there may be a need for another logo if we have a foundation for our organization as well, and so maybe a foundation logo, and then the official logo that we use for our board, our district, but that's in the works as well. And that concludes my report.
And then just real quick on the website too, just so you guys know, if you guys have feedback on that, want to see some changes or anything like that, just make sure you send them to Tomas and myself.
And then we have a report by the negotiation committee.
Yeah, the negotiation committee has not met with ECRMC or the City of El Centro since our last special board meeting report. But we have a negotiation session scheduled for this coming Monday with the City of El Centro. So we look forward to that negotiation continuing with the city.
Okay. And I don't see it on here, but Chris, do you or Tomas have anything to report?
No, nothing at this time.
Okay. That's not related to item 2?
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. So we're on item 9, update discussion and possible actions regarding the dissolution of Pioneers Memorial Hospital District, PMH/IVHD integration. So
The court did not issue a ruling on the items before the court today regarding the Pioneers litigation. So Pioneers dissolution that was approved by LAFCO continues to be stayed pending that decision. The court took the matter under submission, and we look forward to the court's decision in the coming weeks.
okay, thank you. And the urgent care update.
I could do that. So in the last several weeks, Chris and I did a walkthrough of the urgent care and found a lot of little details that need to be fixed. We created a list, shared it with the architect and the builder. We had one more walkthrough late last week again, and those items are getting handled. The jams that we were waiting for the south side of the building were installed and the doors were installed. They started working, they finished the drywall, they're finalizing the floor, and we are just waiting for one lead line door and one lead line glass, kind of like that one for the control room, and then we'll ask for the final inspection on it. So we're getting closer, and Dr. Tyson also did a walkthrough.
I have a question on your list. Did you mention the landscaping,
Yes,
all the grass that's growing?
yes, that was one.
And the other question I have, there was mention of a plaque that we were planning on having on that building. Is that still happening or not?
No, what Sir Liz is talking about, maybe about a year and a half ago, the Heffernan board had approved a plaque to be placed in the building for those board members that were involved when they approved the building for the urgent care. And that one, they had never ordered, thus they said that was a change order, which was not a change order. So there was a cost to that plaque of close to $4,000, and they have a new list of change orders that when I looked at it, I discussed them with Chris, and it's items that don't need to be done now, especially at that cost, that could probably be done later for a lot cheaper. I mean, we're talking $20-something thousand, where we know that because that's not part of the deal, it maybe doesn't require that company to do them because they're simple little things like the knock boxes, the mesh around the door so people can't get in. They're very simple little things that add up. And perhaps that's something that we could handle on the site.
And yeah, and if it's a new scope and
Yeah.
it's above a certain threshold, you have to publicly bid it
Yeah.
anyway as a healthcare district, so keep
And-
an eye on the
And the other question I have is, we had a document with the building company, the contractors, on the delay, that they were going to pay $500.
Liquidated
a day.
damages.
Is that still, have you looked at it?
My office has started looking at that, yes, and we've done an analysis of the delay, and I've discussed with Chris, and we'll discuss with Tomas the how to deal with that moving forward.
Okay,
Yeah,
thank you.
and we'll bring an update to the next board meeting on how we handle that with the contractor.
Thank you.
Any other questions
Do
from
we want to talk about
anyone?
No
I
question.
have a comment on that item. On the
Could you
urgent care.
stand and state your name? for
Sure,
the
I'm
record,
sorry.
please?
Hi, I'm Blanca Morales. I'm the CEO of Calexico Wellness Center here, nonprofit medical clinic. On the urgent care here in Calexico, is that going to be managed by Tyson's private company or his nonprofit clinic?
I believe the agreement is with the Tyson Foundation.
The
But
nonprofit?
we could clarify that.
Let me-
Because the last I looked, he was not active as a nonprofit in the charity registry. Because the guidelines, when you guys contracted him with Heffernan Healthcare District, was that it's supposed to be a nonprofit practice. That was the RFP 4 years ago or 3 years ago, correct?
You know what, I don't recall, so I'll have to look at it and get back to you on that.
Okay, Tomas, it's time.
Sure.
At the very beginning of our board, I think I brought up that question specifically about Dr. Tyson getting or obtaining that contract. And I think I actually asked that specifically.
Yeah.
And I don't remember what the result was, but I thought it was something about how the time frame during that period of time and who was available to put in for it. But then the follow-up was that Dr. Tyson at that time, when he got that bid or whatever, the contract, he wasn't officially a nonprofit until afterward.
Correct.
And that was something that, I don't remember exactly, but I know I brought it up almost a year ago. So.
I will say the lease is between Heffernan and Tyson Medical Inc., which is a California corporation, DBA, All Valley Urgent Care.
So it's not the nonprofit that,
It doesn't appear to be, but I don't know.
that's what I thought.
I don't,
But
I'd have
when he
to look up
applied
the,
on the RFP, it's a nonprofit foundation that was not yet established until afterwards.
Okay,
I can get you copies of that.
okay. Well, thank you for your comments, and we will take that under advisement. So, any other questions or comments before I move on? No? Okay. So that brings us to our strategy planning session.
I think we're gonna table that one, yeah.
Which we're tabling tonight, so that will be tabled, so that'll come back around. So now we have our discussion and consideration for possible action. Our interim CEO employment agreement, we're also tabling at this time, correct?
correct.
Okay. And then we have our amendment to professional services agreement between Ventura Valley Healthcare District and the Berkeley Research Group, BRG, for financial strategy services.
Correct. I'll take that item very briefly. There's a 2-page amendment that was drafted. The agreement that this board executed with BRG many months ago had a cap, a not to exceed cap of $250,000 with an additional $50,000 contingency on an emergency basis by the board chair for spending. And we also had a provision in that agreement that required BRG to give us notice when they were at 80% of the cap. So last week, BRG gave us notice that they're at 80% of the cap. The reason to do that is to make sure we're aware of expenses, not letting things get too crazy, and then so that we're able to incrementally increase the cap as appropriate if the board chooses to do that without, digging the agency into a hole in terms of the agreement says they're not allowed to do work past the cap, and so if they do work, they're not going to get paid for it. So the reason we're bringing this amendment is so that the board can consider increasing the cap to allow BRG to continue to advise Ivhd through the ECRMC negotiations, and just incrementally keep tabs on the total expenditures if you'd like. So there's a proposed amendment with blanks. Again, they haven't hit the cap yet. They're at 80%, so we still have wiggle room. We could still bring this back, but out of an abundance of caution, we brought it to make sure that we're not bumping up against the cap in case, for example, between now and the next board meeting, there's a flurry of work that needs to be done because maybe we make a ton of progress with ECRMC, or maybe, who knows. So one of the ideas of that we discussed offline with the negotiating committee is potentially to increase the cap by $100,000 with the same proviso of notice at the 80% mark, but that's a number that's up to this board. All the other terms of the agreement will remain the same.
So, any discussion, any
No discussion on my part.
recommendations? If someone, I would entertain a motion to update the contract. So actually, the contract would read 350,000 if we did 100, correct?
Correct. The payment cap would be $350, so it's currently $250, and they gave notice at the 80% mark, which is $200K. So it would, if we increased it by $100,000, it would be $350 with an extra $50,000 emergency expenditure that would have to be pre-authorized by the board chair.
So,
I make a motion to increase the cap to $350,000 with a $50,000 emergency fee with the approval of the board.
Second.
okay, we have a motion, I guess they tied, so I'm gonna go with the motion from Mr. Garcia with a second from Mr. Valdez. If there's no other discussion, all those in favor say aye. Opposed? Motion carries, thank you. And the last item is our JPA with UCSD.
We can also table that one. We will continue to have discussions with UCSD regarding the joint powers agreement as the negotiations with ECRMC progress.
Okay. So item C is tabled. That brings us to our update regarding AB 918 progress. Do you have anything further
Nothing further.
than what's already been said? Do you have any general counsel updates?
I do not at this time.
Okay. So items for our future agenda. We have
My recommendation in terms of items for future agenda, we're going to bring a proposed calendar for regular board meeting dates to the January board meeting, so we can set regular board meeting dates for the 2025 calendar year. We'll potentially bring back, depending on the court's ruling on the Pioneers litigation, the interim CEO employment agreement, another item regarding the dissolution and integration of PMH into Ivhd, and potentially a discussion regarding the joint powers agreement with UCSD.
Okay. Is there anything else anyone here would like to add on to the agenda for our next meeting?
I think that's enough.
Yeah. We're getting pretty energetic.
Yes, ma'am.
But with that, if no one has any further items for discussion, anything that I missed, no, then consider us adjourned at 6:45.
Great job.
Thank you.